Radha Radhe, today is Saturday, 10th May 2025, and here we are to present to you this recap video, the first of several that will now come up for our journey of chapter 11 of the Bhagavad Gita. Along with me, here is Mummy.
Radhe Radhe.
I'll bring up the screen and we'll take a look at the cover slide for our content. New chapter. So we move on to chapter 11, and we covered, in addition to the introduction, verses 1 and 2. As always, if you look at the description for the video, you can get the link to the free page where these slides and all other reference material are available. So please make sure you're familiar with that. And so let us listen to chapter 11 with its opening prayer, then verse 1, and continue with the rest of this video's content.
ॐ श्रीपरमात्मने नमः। अथ एकादशोऽध्यायः। विश्वरूपदर्शनयोगः। अर्जुन उवाच मदनुग्रहाय परमं गुह्यम् अध्यात्मसंज्ञितम् यत्त्वयोक्तं वचस्तेन मोहोऽयं विगतो मम।
So, chapter 11, verse 1, as we said, coming up, of course, after the introduction. So, please make sure you can go back and read this as well from Swamiji's commentary, the Holy Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 11, known as Vishwaroop Darshan Yog, Yog through beholding the cosmic form of God. Of course, it's a pretty long chapter, and bit by bit, we shall see what Arjun got to truly see. So we see in quotes, but Arjun truly did get that revelation. And of course, it's about that divine cosmic form. The introduction serves as a good summary as well and a preview of what is to come ahead. So you can look at that. And now here, chapter 11, verse 1, we see that Arjun said, and he says very, humbly, as Mummy noted in class, that his illusion is dispelled. And why it has been dispelled now by the end of chapter 10 is because he has heard this supremely confidential spiritual knowledge. So he is actually sending here a full acknowledgement, a note of thanks, a vote of thanks to Sri Krishna that he has cherished everything. He's heard those 80 plus terms and descriptions of the vibhutis and opulences of Sri Krishna. He's understood much, much more. As Mummy walked us through that history of the different chapters, Arjun's gotten to this stage now, right at the beginning of chapter 11. And he knows Sri Krishna is not just his best friend, but also well beyond. He is the supreme divine personality. So, absolutely with humility, he is thanking the Lord for the Lord's compassion in getting him thus far to reveal that knowledge, which is again, remember, Guya, supremely confidential. But then, because of Arjun's eligibility, to be able to continue further as to what that knowledge is going to reveal ahead. Remember, we had the flyer, which was right here with a question: what must you hear so that your illusion is dispelled? Indeed, as we learn from Arjun's words, he has heard that supremely confidential spiritual knowledge, and that is what has gotten his illusion to be dispelled. Here, remember, we said this: we're crossing the material ocean to get over to the transcendental ocean of God's abode. So, that representation here as well. And many of you listen to or read the Bhagavad Gita on your phone. That's represented here as well. That's our mechanism, truly, physically, of hearing that supremely confidential spiritual knowledge. So, illusion dispelled, Arjun's getting past his lamentation and delusion. Next, let's look at chapter 11, verse 2.
भवाप्ययौ हि भूतानां श्रुतौ विस्तरशो मया त्वत्तः कमलपत्राक्ष माहात्म्यम् अपि चाव्ययम्.
So, chapter 11, verse 2, here it has the catchphrase, and I believe for chapter 11, verse 1, I forgot to mention compassionate clarification, right? The Lord's clarification thus far and with compassion. Now, chapter 11, verse 2, as a question, appear to disappear? Two things we said in class. One is truly about the appearance and disappearance of living beings. They originate from Sri Krishna, and at the time of annihilation, after that, they go back into that latent energy state in Sri Krishna. The other thing is that this divine knowledge continues to unfold. The true revelation of Sri Krishna and the cosmic form, of course, will appear for Arjun, but all that is that eternal truth, avyayam. So, does it disappear? No, it's always there. So, appear to disappear, this question, two ways to look at that, two different answers that you need to keep in mind. So, as we see in the commentary, right, and the translation as well, Arjun continues. He actually, we saw in class, Mummy mentioned, we had participant discussions. All this is Arjun stating a good, succinct summary of what he has learned so far. He does it with an appellation to Sri Krishna, Kamala Patraksha. Technically, it's actually in the vocative, as Swamiji says. It's this point of inflection in the dialogue, and it is in fact using an invocation. Here, of course, Sri Krishna, whose eyes are like the lotus flower. We talked at length about the lotus and its flowers and leaves. And again, in summary, large, soft, beautiful, gentle, sweet, etc. So many scriptural analogies that use the lotus. So Arjun is appreciating all that. He notes the paramount position of Sri Krishna. And then, as you see in the second paragraph, he's given a very, very good summary of his understanding of what he knows so far about Sri Krishna. So you can go back and take a look as well. He says Sri Krishna is the supreme controller, yet he is the non-doer. Remember in class we talked about Hladini Shakti that comes up in the opening prayers every time. Right here in the third one, Hladini Shakti Rupinim, that divine Yogmaya, Radharani, the divine mother, all that helping Sri Krishna, quote unquote, be aloof from the work of the world so that all of us, of course, with our gunas, with our karmas, etc., we do what we have learned so far. And Sri Krishna, of course, is impartial. He dispenses justice. And in conclusion, Arjun says he is that object of adoration for all beings. So that is, again, Sri Krishna, the eternal majesty. Arjun setting the stage for what is to come next. Now we'll listen from Mummy. Any comments as well with the introduction, the verses, and of course, important Sanskrit terms.
Yeah, thank you, Gagan. So, this chapter about Vishwaroop Darshan Yog that Arjun is going to see with the divine vision granted by Sri Krishna. So, we'll learn about all that Vishwaroop Darshan through the upcoming verses. But in these two verses, what we notice that Arjun, as a great disciple, is first thanking Sri Krishna for all the supreme secret knowledge, the secret spiritual knowledge that Sri Krishna has given him. So it is basically the revision of all the previous chapters. Arjun is a great disciple, a great devotee who has full faith in Sri Krishna and who has surrendered himself. And another quality is that he is not envious of Sri Krishna. That is why Sri Krishna gave him all this knowledge. So, in this first verse, Arjun is saying that the root cause of his panic in the first chapter was moha, that was the delusion. He was deluded, he was confused between his duty as a warrior and as a family member. So here he is saying that his delusion has been dispelled. So how he has understood? He has understood the supreme knowledge of self, that eternal essence. What is that? That is the Atma, the soul. He has understood that he is the soul, not the body. So his body identification is gone, and he has understood that soul is immortal. And he has also understood that God is universally all pervading. So that is what has made him understand the real supreme knowledge. And now he says that Krishna, you have given it to me out of compassion. So we learn the word here, Mad Anugrahaya. Mad Anugrahaya means out of compassion. And another important word we learn is Adhyatma Sangnitam. Adhyatma Sangnitam is about spiritual knowledge. So look at Arjun's um, goodness, his humbleness, his humility, that he is not saying that because he is a good disciple, because he is a great devotee, because he is Krishna's confidant, because he is a great disciple, he is great friend of Sri Krishna, and because he is not envious of Sri Krishna, he is not saying any of these, but all he is saying that Krishna, thank you so much, out of mat anugrahaya, out of compassion, you have given me all this knowledge. So, for a good life lesson for all of us to learn this humility, to grow this humbleness in ourselves, that before approaching a guru, we first thank the guru what all we have learned from our teacher, from our guru, and still if we want to know something, then very humbly we ask that. So in the next verse, let's learn the word Kamal Patraksh. Kamal Patraksh is lotus-eyed one. That is, he is comparing, he is addressing Sri Krishna as lotus-eyed one. Hmm? Why? We will understand more. And also there's another word, Mahatmyam. Mahatmyam is the greatness. So now he's in this verse also, Arjun is again thanking Sri Krishna, that from Sri Krishna himself he has heard, he has learned about this knowledge of appearance and disappearance, that how this whole universe is started by Sri Krishna, because he is the origin of everything in this whole universe. He is the Adi and Ant. We have learnt about that supreme golden egg, that Hiranyagarbha in the previous chapter, how everything comes out, manifests from Sri Krishna. And in the end, Sri Krishna, through different forms of himself, how he creates, how he sustains, and how he dissolves this universe. So, here Arjun is saying that he has understood about this whole cycle of birth and death, this whole cycle of manifestation and transformation of all human beings. And he says, O Shri Krishna, you are Kamal Patraksh, you are lotus eyed. Your eyes are so beautiful, so gentle, so sweet. It has all the attributes of the way a lotus flower. That means Sri Krishna is like the lotus that does not get affected by the attributes of the pond or the lake where it grows. God does not get personally involved in the workings of the universe. He is impartial to everyone in giving the results, in granting the results, either liberation or bondage. And God remains as the Avyayam. Avyayam means imperishable. God is the imperishable foundation on which this mechanical Prakriti projects the multitude of names and forms. So, Arjun is telling Sri Krishna that he has understood, as a good disciple, he has understood all this knowledge, and how all this cycle of reincarnation happens and the transformation of living beings happen, how this cosmic process is a manifestation of Sri Krishna's divine power. So Arjun has understood all this, but still we can feel that after having told and thanked Sri Krishna for all this supreme spiritual knowledge, there is something more which he needs to know or see. That is what we will understand in the next verse on next Saturday. Over to you, Gagan.
Yeah, thank you, Mummy. That excitement certainly is there. So we look forward to seeing you all on Saturday, 17th May 2025. Same 8 a.m. Central Time, 6:30 p.m. India time. Of course, before that, tomorrow will be the Divine Special Mother's Day. So we honor and celebrate the Divine Mother and our mothers with that. So look forward to a lot of celebrations. Keep, reviewing material. We'll have, of course, a small quiz, recap quiz for these couple of verses as we keep making progress in our chapter 11 journey. Thank you so much. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.